Mira, Jacqueline.
All right, so I guess we are live and this is being recorded as well. So welcome all of you. This is the beautiful interview. I guess we aren't good at naming it. So I'm gonna say it everything that this is gonna be an interview. It's gonna be a satsang. And the topic that we have chosen is how to be in eternal bliss. Just a short intro before I jump on. So meet Mr. Teja Anand, and today he is our guest speaker here. And just a short intro of how I got to know him. I guess I started off seeking for enlightenment. I'm gonna totally contradict myself here. Seeking enlightenment starting from this year, and you're gonna hear from Teja that everything I'm doing is so stupid. Okay, so anyways, so I started in that journey of what is enlightenment? Why is this thing kind of coming to me? To give you a background of myself, I'm a holistic healing practitioner. Prior to that, I was some e-com business owner, etc. So anyways, most recent history has been that I've been a holistic healing practitioner for the past 3 to 4 years. I'm the founder of zeropointhealing.com, which is a directory filled up with lots of beautiful holistic healing practitioners from people all over the world. And I'm also the founder of Money Consciousness Academy, where we teach money consciousness to the world. So that has been my little major history to speak about. But anyways, through my journey, through healing, through empowering people through the money consciousness aspect, that was my major project that was happening until last year. But this year, all of a sudden, it started changing. This year, meaning 2022, depending on when you're watching this video. So this enlightenment thing started coming up, and I've been looking at all different information that has been available, learning about it. And I also, in fact, went to Rishikesh last month. And I guess there as well, a lot of things that I learned. It was a Vedanta camp that I went for. So right after the camp, interestingly, my quest, I felt like shifted a little bit. And it took me to Teja right after the Rishikesh trip. That's when I even found him through his YouTube videos. Unlike many others that I've been listening to, his energy, his way of explaining things somehow made me feel super cool. That's interesting that I don't have to seek this thing that I had been doing. And it made me feel like, oh, is it so that I'm already enlightened? That makes me feel relieved. All of these different feelings that made me feel better in general than anything else that I've been doing before. So there was more and more I started listening to, I guess, all YouTube videos of Teja. I have learned, I have started, writing down in my notes, a lot of notes and stuff. I'm like a very curious student. So then I actually booked up a one-on-one private consultation with Teja, where I discussed even more. I just was so curious about, hey, who are you? Where do you come from? What do you do? These were the questions I was asking him, because for me, it was like, what's the history background of this person? How did he get to know all of this? I was very much curious about it. Anyways, in that conversation as well, I learned a lot. So then I invited him to this interview, and I have tons of questions. So welcome, Teja. I hope you're ready for the hot seat.
I'm ready.
All right. Anything you want to speak before I open up? Anything you want to say to the audience?
Oh, I'm just enjoying all of the faces. All of you are so beautiful. It's a real pleasure to see all of your smiling faces and spend time with you. Let's have fun.
Wow, thank you. Alrighty, so I'll start off with my first question. Of course, it is how to be in eternal bliss. In other words, I can also ask, how is it, Teja, that you're always in eternal bliss?
Because Teja is not here. As long as Teja is here, there can be bliss, but there can also be the opposite, right? There can be trouble and suffering, because that's the nature of the individual, the identity that we think we are comes with up and down, joy and sorrow, birth and death, right? It's just the nature of playing this role of a human character. So as long as that's present, all of those other things will be present too. So there'll be times of bliss. And at a certain point, there's the possibility that we see through the illusion of a separate identity, and it drops away. That illusion drops away, and we see that everything is just life living through these roles that we seem to be. So then you see it was just a role, the role drops away, and you fall back into just being life, just lifing, life living. And from that moment on, first of all, there isn't really moments, that's time, and time is also part of the illusion that you see through. But for the sake of conversation, we'll say from that moment on, there's just what's happening. There's no judgment of what's happening. There's just what's happening. Without the judgment, it's not a question anymore. Is this a blissful moment? Is this a challenging moment? Is this moment filled with joy or sorrow, success or failure? At that point, all that's left is what's happening. So you could say that there's a constant state of bliss, but really what there is a constant state of just everything being as it is with no judgment at all. So that's now you asked two questions. You asked, how is it that I'm always enjoying that? And that would be the answer to that question. But then you also asked, how can we, right? So
That's right.
the answer is we can't. Sorry, the interview's over. Time to leave. We can't, because the we is what needs to disappear in order for that to be what's happening all of the time. And we cannot cause the disappearance of the we, the dissolution. That happens sometimes, but we can't cause it because it's not cause and effect. That's not how life works. So, but we can be here. How many of you are feeling bliss right now? Feeling joy? How many of you are feeling that whatever is right now is exactly what is? Huh? So then the only thing that would matter as far as whether it was a blissful moment or a non-blissful moment would be whatever judgments and resistances you overlaid on top of what is. We all agreed there's just what is. Right now, there's just what is. If we don't overlay some kind of a judgment on it, like, yeah, there's just what is, but I don't like this current what is. I want a different what is. I'm resisting this current what is. I'm up in my head planning for the ice cream cone that I'm going to eat later. I'm going to look forward to that what is more than this what is, right? Or when I make more money or have more love or have more sense gratification or accomplish more. and impress the world with my accomplishments. So the minute we add that, everything still is what is, but now we've blown our bliss. We blew it. We had bliss. Everything was just what is. And then we went ahead and smeared this oil on top of it called what isn't. I'm looking forward to what isn't. So the instant of liberation isn't in the future. It's now. It's right now. You're all liberated right now if you want. Just be with what is. And then next moment, just be with what is then. Next moment, just be with what is then. And then you're in a constant state of bliss. And you're always surprised too, which is kind of fun. So that's a beginning answer. I'm sure we'll get into it a little bit deeper, but how's that for a start, Vishnupriya?
You make it sound so easy, Teja. I'll make it a little more complicated for you with my questions.
That's fine. That's
All
why we're
right.
here.